Hi there, Marcus here from Topaz. We're doing a case study today, and the case study is about a customer that has just bought the Topaz system, Topaz software specifically, and some other hardware items. But effectively, to get the customer from zero to hero, if we can put it that way. So the customer has in front of us here a database that they've completed and formatted. So we need to take it from this point and import it into the system, and also go through the whole process of how to be able to ring up items and so on. So let's just start off by having a look quickly and see what is on the computer, where the Topaz has been installed, registered, all the rest of it, and let's take it from there. Alright, so I'm just going to open up the back office first of all to see what's going on in the database and what products have been loaded, etc., etc. Alright, so it is maybe good that this is happening, because as we can see on the screen there, this customer's program has not been open for quite some time. If we look in the back part of the screen in the File Explorer, the version that the customer has got on the computer is dated the 6th of July 2017. Now, since then we've had a couple of upgrades available, and the Topaz system, when we release a version that has an automatic upgrade available, will automatically mark it into your Topaz back office program and say that it must check for upgrades. And in this case, as you can see, it actually prompts up now and say there is a new version. So it's good that we specify yes right now, so that the system can at least be updated to the latest version first of all. Problem always for us is to deal with queries and questions that we get on a day-to-day basis about certain functionality that is either not there or not working as the customer sees it. And we know that we've made the changes and made the fixes in the software, changed the software to accommodate those requests, but the customers do not have it because they simply just keep on ignoring the upgrade. So it's not a good idea to ignore it. Rather stay with the latest, because then we can help you and assist you with regards to any problems that you might have. On the point, while it's busy downloading, a lot of customers also have issues that when they run the automatic upgrade, we get the emails, almost want to call it hate mail, and say, oh, but what have you guys done now? And you've now broken this, and suddenly my controller has disappeared, and this has disappeared, and all sorts of things. Now, at the end of the day, that is not the intention. The intention is not to break your system. I mean, what would be the logical part of that? Some customers will say, yeah, it's because you want to make money. Well, really, 800 Rand for a TeamViewer session is going to suddenly become our new business plan? Definitely not our business plan. Our business plan is to sell thousands software packages a month. Okay, at the moment we're selling 300 plus a month. Okay, we're not going to be able to get to the 1,000 if we keep on hanging on to creating errors in the software. So please, let's just get past that point now. I'm just clicking on here to see which antivirus program the customer has on their computer. Alright, so it seems like it's a Trend Micro Maximum Security program, whatever that might be. No idea, never heard of it before. Might have seen it once or twice, but don't really know how it works. So we'll see now what effect that has on the system as well. Alright, so as you can see, the back office program started up the upgrade and immediately went on and did a backup first of the customer's database, and shows me where the backup is stored. And it's important for, in case something does tragically, terribly go wrong, that we at least have a backup of the database before we get started. At this point in time, we're just giving it time to go through its processes. It's obviously downloaded the file, and it's busy extracting it and doing what it needs to do. Just on that point, let's maybe open up another Explorer Explorer window, so I can just show you where the files are being stored. And there's a typical example, and that's very good exercise. Alright, so now it's giving us a suspicious software blocked. Okay, now again, we get this on many customers. Okay, now first of all, the software we use ourselves, we use something called Kaspersky, which in my opinion is the best antivirus software available. So Topaz is tested and checked on Kaspersky first of all. In other words, it comes from our servers, which run Kaspersky, So therefore, there shouldn't be a problem with 4POS at all. But we do get this, what we call false positives. In other words, this Trend Micro program has now come up and says, no, it thinks it's suspicious. All right. So let's go and see. I'm going to click on more details, and you might say, I don't need to see this. You're welcome to forward on the video. All right. Um, so I need to now also go and determine now what is the problem. Why does this program think that there's an issue? All right. Doesn't really give me much information. All right, so it says we'll also add the program to the exception list. Yes, that's a good idea. Any program that you stop blocking could pose a security risk. Well, we give you the guarantee that there's no viruses, as I've just said. Okay, and the guarantee is simply it's been tested by many, many different versions. AVG, Avast, and the list goes on. All right, so again, more than that we can't do. Ready to approve? Yes. You still want to stop blocking the program? Yes, I do want to stop blocking it. In other words, I want you to allow it, Mr. Trend Micro program. All right, so it says okay. So let's see if it allows me to go further than that. And now I'm going to click OK, and let's see if it goes further than that now. If it's doing anything else. Alright, so what I wanted to show you earlier, what I said is, I just want to show you where the file is being stored once you've downloaded it. You can see there the file is over there. And now it's again blocked a file back office exe log. That's a log file. Okay, no idea why it will want to block it and remove it, and I really don't understand the logic about some of these programs. Alright, so it also says now that it's just removed that program. Well, definitely don't want to do that. Alright, so I'm clicking on that, as you can see, and I'm saying I want to restore that. I don't want to delete it. Okay. So again, unfortunately, customers, we are not in control of your antivirus programs. In our opinion, install Kaspersky, install something that is reputable, and carry on. I mean, in my opinion, a lot of these antivirus programs comes for free with a computer or when you download something else, and now it becomes our problem. No, sorry, we can't accept that. Alright, so I said restore, and it doesn't seem to want to do that. Okay, well now it seems to be happy with that. Alright, so let's click OK again, and as you can see, it's also removed the whole 4POS upgrade file. A really horrible piece of program, this. Well, let's just go and see if we can get into the main console and tell it to stop doing whatever it thinks it's doing. Going into the settings of this program now to go and try and see if there is a solution for this. Alright, so here we've got an exception list. Let's go and enable that maybe. Alright, so here we've got the 4POS back office program that is now approved by the looks of it. I don't know why it's there twice. And maybe by looking at this with me, you'll understand that yes, a lot of this just doesn't make sense. So let's go and add some more items. We also know that we want to be able to add the 4POS domain controller. So I'm just going to click here, go to the C drive, the 4POS folder. We want to be able to definitely use back office, we know is there now. So I also want to be able to go and enable or create an exception for 4POS scan. Okay. And 4POS scan should be on that list now, which it is. Great. And I want to add 4POS touch as well. In this case, we're not going to use 4POS touch, but I think it's important that we do it correctly, because a lot of our other customers might want to use 4POS touch. Sorry, let me just browse again. Oh, sorry, that's on the desktop now. I don't want to set the desktop setting necessarily. I rather want to go to the place where the programs are kept, because tomorrow we load another program and it's a mess again. Okay, so there's the 4POS Touch, and I don't know if you picked that up, but you'll see that that's actually the old programs. I'm just allowing the old programs now to be accepted. So in this case, this machine has not been set correctly at all. Another way would have been to just uninstall the program, or tell the program maybe to go into sleep mode, or ignore uh, the protection for half an hour or so until we're done, because then typically it does not do that anymore. For some reason, when it's trying to put a new program on it, I suppose the antivirus program cannot understand why you would want to replace a program. Well, obviously we want to replace the program because the one that we have there is not working. Alright, so in this case you'll see that there is also no 4POS controller exe file. Okay, in other words, yes, there's some 4POS controller files, but not the 4POS controller exe. That one says controller exe, but if you look on the right hand side, you'll see that it's an XML configuration file, which is not what we're looking for, definitely not what I'm looking for. Alright, so I'm going to cancel that part of it, leave it open for now, and just go back to my hard drive again. And as you can see, my folder is empty. So let's go further. What I'm going to do quickly is just copy this from my computer now to the customer's computer through TeamViewer. So let's do that quickly. Sorry, I'm a little bit off screen here at the moment. Let me see if I can fit this screen. Yeah, perfect. Can fit my screen into the recording part that I'm doing. Alright, and I'm looking for the exe upgrades, and I'm looking for specifically the upgrades that I did a day or so ago. Alright, so there's the 4POS exe upgrades, and I want to dump it into, let me create a new folder just in case. Alright, so there's in TeamViewer, there's a new folder option. 4POS support is a folder name that I choose to use all the time. It makes it easier to know where the things are. Luckily the copy is quite quick over TeamViewer. This is TeamViewer 12, by the way. If you guys are using TeamViewer, definitely worth your while to register for it and upgrade and make sure that you're using the latest version. A couple of small glitches on it, but I'm sure they'll sort it out. Nice company to deal with, in my opinion. Okay, so there's my file now. Let's go and have a look at my C drive 4POS support folder, and there's my exe. Just to as a double check, I'm going to right click on this now and scan it. Okay, and see whether the same program that's so particular, for want of a better word, I could have used a lot of other better words in my opinion, but let's use particular then, picks up something funny that it doesn't like. Alright, and as you can see, no threads found. But earlier when we tried to run it from the automatic upgrade, it came up with lots of stories about what it doesn't like and how it's going to fix it and how dare you, etc., etc. It's totally ridiculous. Alright, so we're closing that now, and now I'm running the upgrade manually. In other words, I've now downloaded it or copied it or put it onto the customer's computer, and I'm now allowing it just to run. And now it blocks it again. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. How could you scan it one moment and the next moment you say that it's suspicious? And again, no options to say allow or do not allow. Alright, so let's go back into this permissions. I just want to see if the file is still there. Yes, it is. It hasn't removed it. So what I'm going to do is add it. Alright, go back to my C drive. Support folder, exe upgrades, and let's OK that. So now supposedly it will ignore it. Okay, so let's just minimize that again, because I'm sure we're not done with this yet. The video started out as a case study, but we're dealing with viruses, and it's really irritating. And then again, it comes up with the same file that I've just made an exception for, and it still tells me that there's something wrong. Getting to the point where I just think this is a piece of rubbish software. Alright, let's try again. I finally now uninstalled the Trend rubbish, um, and as you can see it's already removed the 4POS back office program once again after enabling it, after telling it to not do that. It's done that. Prompted for the customer said it's a piece of software that they got for free, so sorry, can't carry on trying to deal with that. Okay, so I'm running the 4POS upgrades a last time, hopefully. Okay, finally we're at the point where we can actually see what's going on in the system. No products loaded on the system as yet, so that looks all good. I don't have to close that, so I'm going to leave it open. In the 4POS folder, I'm going to find my 4POS upload file. Easier to click on type so that it can sort it out for you. And there's the upload program. Okay, so let's go back to Excel quickly and just double check that our file is okay. Now, this is the file the customer wants to import. So first of all, let's get rid of line number 1, which is a blank line. Not a good idea. I'm clicking on the cost and I can see that there is no R in there, but just for safety's sake, I'm going to quickly change the formats of these two columns and make sure that it shows it as a number and not as a rand figure. I'm going to be saving the file later on as a CSV file, so I don't want any funny characters in there because it will pick it up incorrectly if I've got the R in there. Alright, so let's make that also right justified, so that looks fine. Last check quickly on here is to go and do a find and look for any commas, and there is a comma which creates a problem. We're going to save it as a CSV file, so we don't want a comma in there. I'm replacing that with a full stop. Okay, so this is still Excel. And then important for me also, I want to make a backup of that file, so I'm going to take the shortcut way and I'm literally just going to make a copy of my pricing file. Right click, copy, and right click and paste. Alright, it'll just create a file called copy of. Alright, so there's my copy file. So if whatever goes wrong here with the import facility, and again, do not assume nothing, assume that it's going to give you problems. I've often even found myself in a predicament where I think, oh, it should be okay, and then 2 hours later we're back to square one. Alright, so I'm just going to make that left justified as well, so it all looks okay. Let's just do another check just in case for any, just as well. As you can see, there's in the description another commas in the item code. Now again, no commas anywhere. Alright, so I'm going to replace all commas with full stop and replace that one. In fact, I'm just going to replace all of them. Alright, so there's only 2 of them, but that 2 would have created a problem. So at the same time, let's go and check the groups and see if there's anything in the groups. No, there's nothing there. So theoretically, we are okay. Alright, so let's start there. I'm going to just click on File. Again, it depends on what version of Excel you're using. It doesn't really matter which one you use. So, okay, so I'm just going to save the spreadsheet first, as you can see, and then I'm also going to click and say Save As, because I want to save it as a CSV file. Now, there's a little bit of repetition on this video and the video about the upload, but I think it's a good exercise. A couple of minutes you're watching a video, I think all the tools and all the possibilities that you need is better for you. Alright, so CSV, comma separated value file. Better to choose the MS-DOS one. I do not know what the Mac one does, and I don't really care. So let's save it as that. It says it doesn't contain multiple sheets. So we're happy with that because everything is on one sheet. If you're not too familiar with Excel, it basically means there's nothing lying here in sheet number 1 and 2, which is fine. Alright, I don't have anything there, so I'm not interested in that. Alright, so I'm going to quickly go back to my 4POS get back to my 4POS upload program, and finally we'll be able to do the upload. Okay. On my clock we're sitting most likely at about 50 minutes or so. So again, just from a perspective, possibly, maybe not a perspective that customers always appreciate, is it takes a lot of time for us to try and do support, and sometimes it does sound like we're irritated, and in fact we are, because we want to get to the good stuff. We want to get to the new features, the functionalities that's going to change your business and make your world rock. That's what we want to get to, and we've got to deal with, all fairness, I mean, in most cases, really mediocre stuff that really just messes us about. Alright, so in the database, let's just go back to the spreadsheet there. In the database, my item code is going to be my item number. That's correct. So you can always just helps you to refer back to what your list is. Display name, we obviously got the description of the product in there, and I'm going to make my receipt name a description as well. Stock group, I'm going to use the group then as the group as the stock group as well as the pricing group. The selling price, I've got my selling price over there. Cost price, what I didn't do is ask the customer about VAT. So before we finally go through the process, let me just quickly check. Are you VAT registered? Let's hopefully see if she gives us an answer quickly. Alright, so that basically means that our cost prices and our selling prices are excluding VAT, which is what we expect. We expect the cost to be excluding VAT and the selling price to be inclusive of VAT. Oh, sorry, it's actually not okay. We better go and fix that. So let's just double check again. Alright, and it does. Okay, great. So we now know that, and the reason we want that cost to be including our VAT is because the customer is not registered for VAT, so therefore the cost that they're paying is the price with the VAT that the supplier is charging them. In other words, the real cost, because you can't claim the VAT back for that. So that part of it seems okay. Alright, so let's click on next year. System's going to go through quickly, uploading or checking the items, and there's a problem on, and it's giving me a record here of item number 390. Now sometimes a problem for us to determine whether that's what is the case there. So let's easier way, let me see if I need to stop the video and go and do a proper check, but sometimes we can check it quite easily. What I'm going to do is just open up another Explorer here quickly so I can leave this one open. And again, typical, say quickly want to do that, and nothing is quick. Alright, so what we want to do is look at 4POS support folder. There's my file. It's an Excel comma separated value file, so I'm going to right click on that and say open with, and open it up with Notepad. And I'm doing that because obviously if I open it up in Excel again, it's just going to show me the same thing, and I'm not really going to see where the issue is. Now first of all, what I'm noticing here is the end of the lines here, we've got lots of commas. Now those commas are for empty records, okay, and we will have a problem at line number 390 odd. So in here, if you change the view to line number, you can actually see where you are in the database. Alright, so let's see if we can see something on 390 that is different from what we want or what we would expect. Alright, so we're a couple of lines up, maybe over there, 395, 4, 3, 2, 1, 390. Alright, so now we're on the right line, and that's over there. So in here, there's a problem here. For some reason, there's some record there, something that's wrong. Now it might be, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 commas at the end of that, and that might be it. It might also be the next line, needlework starter pack, whatever the case may be. Not sure whether that's any of the problems. Alright, let's just try that as an example, again, case study. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of all these extra commas here, and by doing that I need to go back to my spreadsheet and delete the extra columns. I'm going to try and take a shortcut by just going into the system. I've got column A, B, C, D, E, that's fine. So here there was something in one of these columns here, and I'm just going to press Alt E and D for record. So now there's nothing there, and my file is still a CSV file because I'm working on the CSV file, and I'm going to just save it again, and as you can see it's still a CSV. Go back to my folder and open up that file in Notepad once more. Open up with Notepad, and you see I don't have my commas at the end of the line. Okay, so that seems better. Now coming back to 4PARS now, and the import hasn't happened. In other words, there's nothing that has been imported because it couldn't get past that stage. It couldn't read your file properly. So again, a little bit of sympathy, for want of a better word. We create a file, we expect all fields to be correct. We are not magicians. We cannot know what is going on in your spreadsheets. Alright, and this applies to all programs. As programmers we use lots of tools that's available to us, and for that matter we often use PDF to Excel imports and things like that. And again, if you want to import mailing lists and all sorts of other things that you want to import from time to time, if your file format is not correct, it just won't work. You cannot expect of software to know that maybe this and maybe that and maybe the following. It's just not possible. Alright, so let's give it another bash. Okay, so now there's definitely a problem. Alright, I'm going to pause the video at this point in time because I have to go and look at the database and go and scratch and see exactly what the issue is. Come back later. Alright, I'm back. I've opened up the database. Fortunately, customer has Microsoft Access on the computer. And as you can see, this is a table that we use to import the database, and it's gone down to record number 413 and not 390 like it says on the screen. So the mistake or the error most likely is sitting there. So what I've done is to basically go and look in the database and see what's the last character, what's the last thing that has been done. Okay, now very interesting here, as you can see on the screen. Alright, there's still some commas in the description, and we did a find and replace earlier and it didn't pick it up. So that is now causing the issue. Alright, so do not know why. Let's just put a space in there for now, and obviously I need to do another find and replace, and I do not know why I didn't pick that up at all. Alright, so it didn't find anything. Let's go back to home, pressing Control Home, do a find, and I'm saying find next, and it doesn't find anything. Correct? No, it does actually. Interesting sake, look at the screen here. You see here what's happening. This is quite weird. We've got at the bottom here, we've got a column, okay, which as you can see on the left hand side is quite extended, okay, and that extended column has got a value in, and you can't even see it properly because it's just too big. Alright, and there's lots of commas in there after that. So I'm just going to go back one character. Let me rather do it a different way. Right click, format, sorry, I don't want to format the cell. What I want to do is right click and go and specify the row height, and not the 400 and whatever. I just want to make it 15 for Excel. That's enough to see what's going on there. And yes, I mean, there's got lots and lots of commas still in here. Alright, so let's do the find and replace again. Control H is find and replace. Find what? Replace that with a full stop, and I'm going to say replace all, and 97 records replaced. And hopefully this is now finally done, because my goodness, we are having so much fun on this computer. Okay, alright, so sometimes people also ask about why we're paying 800 Rand for a TeamViewer session for. Well, as you can see, it's not always simple. It's sometimes a little bit more difficult, a little bit more complicated of just being able to do a simple import. And then people say, but can't you do it for me? Well, again, 2 hours of our time down the line already, and we haven't even done no real work. We haven't shown the customer how the system works yet. So really waste of time. Alright, so let's get back and go and try and do our upload one more time. So one more thing that I'm thinking of now while I'm typing is another problem that we often have with these type of files is people leave a lot of open lines at the bottom of the file. So I haven't checked for that. Let me just go and double check that quickly. Just putting it all the way down, and that does seem to be the end of the file. Okay, so we should be alright. Because once you've done the import, you have to step back and restore your backup and. So we don't want to do that. Okay, so let's give it one more try. Alright, so it's gone past the 390, running up to 800, 900. Seems like we're okay now. And the system is now coming up and telling us that there's lots of duplicates. Okay, and the duplicates evolves around items that is got the same number. So we've got a Nikam 20 grey mix, which is item 20, and we've also got those items. Now the upload option has the ability to do an auto fix. So for now I'm just going to do that because seriously we can't carry on. We'll be busy for a whole day just to do an import on our database. Alright, and I'm going to say do update so it will run through the process quickly and the update is okay. So finally I've got a database that I can start using. Alright, and we've got a lot of items in there. Alright, so for me to be able to carry on with the rest of the process with the customer, I'm doing an update point of sale, option 3, update all, which is all standard. What we did discuss with the customer earlier is the ability or how they would be able to sell the product in the point of sale. So that's really the question about which program to use. Do we use 4POS Touch? Do we use 4POS Scan? Now, the important part of that is that we'll go back to the database just now so that you can just see my 4POS controller finally is staying where it's supposed to be staying because I don't have a Trent rubbish antivirus program. Okay, so my domain controller is open. Hopefully finally we can get to the point where we can actually show the customer how to use the system. And please, a reminder, gentle reminder that none of what I've done so far is problems with 4POS. Problems all related to the computer and viruses and databases and. And unfortunately, we're sitting with customers that keep on wanting to turn that into a discussion. Okay, so 4POS Scan is opening up. The customer's obviously not used the 4POS Scan program at all before because it's coming up and saying no printers has been installed. So let's go and configure the printers quickly. Not sure which printer they have. It looks like a 4POS 80mm printer. Select graphics is on. Width is 72 characters because it's 80mm, so I want to make it a little bit smaller. Welcome to go and watch the configuration videos and basics videos about that. Okay, so once you've done your configuration, it allows you to put in your password. The default is 123456789. I'm just pressing enter and I'm doing a search, and of course all my items is physically on the database. Now let's just go back to the database itself, and let's say for instance I want to go and get a zip chain 5mm black. Discussed it with the customer earlier, and I said, okay, let's assume that I'm working in the business, Marcus now. Okay, and on Saturday morning the person comes to me handing me this item and say, can I pay for this? Or how much is it? I mean, if I don't have a clue, the products don't have barcodes on, they don't have price stickers on, etc., etc., it's going to be very difficult for me. So in the search block, we can go and just type in zip 15, and it will show you all the zip 15s. Okay, you can change the system automatically. If you press enter on that item, again it will sell it. If you basically just go press, let's do the same process again. Sorry, I'm getting tongue twisted here. So I'm doing a zip 15 argument sake. If I press F1 one more time, it shows me my stock quantities at the moment. So stock quantities right now is 0. If you want to be able to see the price on it, now typically our customers do not enable this option because they don't want cashiers to be able to see the price on the system, because they could possibly jippo it in some way. And I'm not going to advertise the ways, but they can. You can actually go and enable the option in the back office here and under store setup and security point of sale parameters, and over here go and enable display selling price. So when you do the maintain selling price, sorry, just something I picked up in that case, point of sale parameters, VAT number, the customer mentioned that they're not VAT registered, so I'm going to take that out immediately. Another thing that I want to do is I want to go back by, because what the system has done for me is automatically added VAT to all the products, and I'm going to change the standard VAT to 0. So now the system will take the cost price as being the cost including VAT for your purposes, or no VAT, and then my margins will show properly. In other words, my cost is 692, my selling is 12, therefore my margins are like that. Now again, I'm not showing the prices here for customers to abuse. We're all business owners. I would presume that's watching a video like this. I think it's important that we also share a little bit of information with each other. Let's make each other stronger. So again, in this customer's case, they've got a markup percentage of 73%, which, if you look at it from your perspective, might be excessive, might be not enough. There are some businesses that, due to low turnovers, etc., etc., must have higher markups, higher margins, simply to cater for the possibility of. Okay, so I've enabled that option. So again, for me to get that option from there, to go through to the point of sale and make my search better in the point of sale or the 4POS scan program, I'm just doing an update again. The system is coming back now and saying if one catalog price where your price is equal to, a lot of customers would have seen this before. You can print a list if you want to just go and have a look. And if you look at it, you'll most likely find that the system is telling you about a product that in a cost sales channel, or one of the sales channels that you don't generally use, has got a price problem. Okay, so if it doesn't apply to you, you can also disable that option. Okay, so it's telling me here that in sales channel point of sale, needles has got a problem. Needles cost is 50 Rand 12, but I'm selling it for 50 Rand, so there's a problem, right? Okay, so let me just take a copy of that quickly, because we obviously want to fix that. In other words, the system is warning me and say, the more of this product that I'm selling, the more money you'll be losing. So again, sorry, let me just get back there. So it's a very funny name, SCHW, sorry, SCHM. I should be able to find it quite quickly here. SCHMETZ, I think it was. Let's just see if we can find it quickly. Alright, so here's all our Schmetz items. I hope that is a correct pronunciation, and if it's not, then we have a problem. Alright, so let's just make that yellow. We'll come back to it later, or the customer can make a decision on that and do a price change on that. Okay, so that is what the negative report is all about, is to warn you and say be careful. So double check your prices. many stories about customers closing their doors because they didn't check prices. Prices are not something to play with. Okay, so I've done the update now. Of course, the domain controller will take that update through, and the data instruction number over here will change. You'll see in the background it says 14. Here it says 15, so the update has gone through, and my instruction number in the back office point of sale has changed now. I can minimize that, and when I do my search again, I can see my prices coming up. Alright, so zip 15 will show me what the prices are, and I can make sure that I'm actually selling the correct product. Okay, this is as far as we're going to go on this part of the video. I'm going to carry on with the recording and screen recording from with a customer that I'm going to record on the telephone. So we'll have a two-way communication between the two of us, and we'll go through some of the steps. Hopefully that will help other customers as well.